Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Pulte, I'll start with you since you wore such a great tie this morning. I couldn't be more proud of President Trump to nominate you. Your background, your experiences are perfect for this job, the insights that you bring to it. You might know that under the Biden administration, they enacted some policies that I think were really bad, sent a really bad signal to working class families. Let me talk about one of them. Under the Biden administration, they changed the formula for the loan level price adjustment fee that screwed families with good credit scores to subsidize more families with bad credit scores. And I wonder what message does that send to people who work hard, who pay their bills on time, who are doing all the right things? What message would that policy have sent to them?
Thank you, Senator. It's a great question. Loan level price adjustments, pricing is essentially what I view it to be. I believe generally should be priced on risk. Now, having said that, I think that it's something that I'd like the benefit of, if confirmed, going into the agency, understanding it, understanding specifically with the data inside of the agency before I give you a definitive answer on what, if anything, should be done. But generally, I believe that pricing should be done on risk. That's how we avoid another 2008 or housing crisis, is we got to ensure the safety and soundness of the housing market.
Yeah, fortunately, the Biden administration, on the way out the door, they ended the policy in December. But I hope that we never allow something like that to happen again. I mean, it's a bad signal to send to hardworking families who do the right thing, and that they would be punished for it. So I appreciate your commitment to look at that and make sure that we don't bring back bad policies like that. Dr. Moran enjoyed our visit in my office a few weeks ago. As you know, this week Apple announced its plans to invest $500 billion in the United States, creating over 20,000 jobs, especially in advanced manufacturing. I wonder, what role do you think that the president's tariff policies played in that announcement?
Thank you, Senator. And yes, I very much agreed the opportunity to discuss these issues with you in your office. I think the president's policies played a very large role in such an announcement. The president has been very clear that he's not going to stand for asymmetric trade relationships in which we give unfettered market access to our consumers to other countries and they don't reciprocate. And he's made clear that he's going to stand up for American workers and American firms. And I think that his very clear willingness to do so is incentivizing not only investment in the United States from companies like Apple, but also other countries, sort of beginning to make concessions on national security and on trade as well, even preemptively before any threats have been made.
Why do you think so many economists tell us the opposite? The tariffs are going to cost us jobs in the U.S., and yet this announcement sort of proves the opposite.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. I think the reason why most economists view tariffs as being unhelpful is because of a quirk of the modeling methodology, where they basically assume that trade deficits, balance out to zero over the long term. But that really hasn't happened in recent decades. So clearly something is wrong with the assumptions underpinning these models. Indeed, if we review the history of tariffs, we see that in the 19th century, the average tariff rate on dutiable imports was in excess of 40% for most of the latter half of the 19th century, and the average tariff rate on all imports was in excess of 30%. Nevertheless, this was a period of extraordinary economic transformation in the Industrial Revolution. Even after World War II, the tariff rate on dutiable imports was in excess of 30%, again, a period of very strong economic growth. It wasn't until the 1970s until we really get to the period of very low tariffs beginning. And coincidentally, that coincided with the reduction in growth rates. Now, I don't want to claim that correlation is causation, but nevertheless, the historical record is very clear that the American economic story has seen periods of high tariff rates coincide with extraordinary economic success. So there's nothing in the historical record that would say that it's impossible to have a fabulous economy with high tariffs.
Those jobs were either going to go to China or the United States because of President Trump and these policies. They're coming to the United States. So it speaks for itself, and I'm very proud of that. Really quickly, Mr. Kessler, Communist China has built too many weapons using stolen American technology, and BIS oversees export controls, which are supposed to stop the PLA from getting its hands on sensitive technologies like bioweapons, ingredients, or cutting-edge chips. But career bureaucrats over the years at BIS have rubber stamped deals for decades to send some of our most important technology to China. What can you do to stop that?
Well, thank you, Senator. I will not rubber stamp deals like that, and I will make sure that we scrutinize any request along those lines very carefully and make sure that every action that we take is consistent with our national security priorities.
Thank you very much. Look forward to working with you on that. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you.